Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin, big up the CoinsKid crew. So Bitcoin has seen a massive bullish close this week, right? And we need to see the consistent closes above the weekly 20 EMA going forward, in my opinion. And what we need to see is the inverse correlation here for a big run in the crypto markets and risk on assets. We need to see the DXY hold this as resistance going forward, okay? Because right now the DXY is breaking down. It's heading towards my target. I do think we'll see a relief bounce here, into resistance. If we can hold this as resistance, this is where I think Bitcoin and crypto will absolutely go on a melt again, okay? And if it does, then what you're doing is pretty much like what you did here, okay? So in 2016 leading into 2017, we got the breakdown in the EMAs, and then we entered that downtrend. We turned it into resistance, and this depreciation for over a year in the DXY was an amazing time for crypto, an absolutely amazing time for crypto. Now if we take a look at this downtrend that occurred here, we lost the EMAs, death cross, okay, and then boom, we came all the way down. This is from 2020 all the way into the 2021 pump, okay? Big impulsive move. So, we can see a clear impulsive move is represented by the DXY breaking down and entering a big crash or big correction, which is normal. Please remember that it's just a normal retracement in this lovely breakout the DXY is going through. This is opportunity. Now, right now, if the DXY has entered this, prolonged downtrend here, especially on the yearly time frame, which I think I've said this to you before, I think 2023 could be a really good time for crypto, but we need to see the DXY entering that downtrend. We need to see it turn this support into resistance. I think if we can get the confirmation right now, we're getting a lovely little bounce off of DXY, and we're sort of seeing a little bit of a pullback on crypto, and this is how it works. You get waves, okay? But if we can see this turn into support and come up and get consolidate between this as resistance and support, and then we go again, I think you're looking at a fantastic 2023 for a lot of the crypto projects, okay? And what we're looking at is a rinse repeat of what we got here, this big downtrend, this big retracement potentially here like that, okay? Which you can see it's just a series of high lows, which is normal. You're in a massive uptrend here, series of high lows looking for continuation. So 2023 could be a really good time, and this chart here is confluence to this, okay? So what I'm looking for is consistent resistance here of these EMAs. If we can turn this into resistance on the DXY and this thing starts to come down like this, then this leg here coming down is going to be the same as this and the same as this. So let's, for example, drop the Bitcoin price comparison in here. To do this, you need to go to the plus up there, compare symbol, Bitcoin, BTC, just search for it, and then new price to scale, drop that in, okay? So you can clearly see here, look at this. So we've got this run from 2016. Look at that. As this began to break down, okay, Bitcoin just went on this parabolic run. Look at that big parabolic run just there for the crypto markets. Again, from 2020 into 2021, Bitcoin, this broke down, and Bitcoin went on this insane run. Look at that, okay? Massive run. So theoretically, we could be looking at a very similar situation here where, the DXY is breaking down, turn this into resistance. If it does, and then rolls, we could be looking at this coming down, and then from this point here we're already seeing the emergence of the big rally where Bitcoin starts to come up, okay, like it did here and like it did here, okay? But we need to see this breaking down, and the truth of it is that this is not technically bearish, this is bullish long term. So I think that once this comes down and finds a level of support, potentially some kind of high low, and goes again, that's where you want to be exiting your crypto, and it could actually be this year, okay, which will be a little bit different from previous cycles, but it could pave way to my cycle theory, okay, that I've been drumming on about for a very long time. It could be a bit of confluence to the fact that we might be looking at some kind of big melt up towards the end of the year. And I've gone through this with you before many times, as Bitcoin was coming down. I told you that I think that Bitcoin is in this lengthening peak to peak cycle theory, okay, where the peak of the cycle is actually 2023. So I'm going to go through that with you. But one thing I want to show you on a Bitcoin chart right now, which is very bullish for crypto and for Bitcoin, is this, okay? So on the weekly time frame, we've got a beautiful close above the weekly 20 EMA. Now going forward, we need to see consistent closes right now above this yellow line, okay? The more time we can go right now by closing above that line, I would start to say, okay, we're looking really impulsive off these lows. You've got a 1 and a 2. This is a potential 3, 4, and then 5 up to the 55. That's a wave 1, okay, with loads of subsets of waves within that. And then you've got a 1, a potential wave 2, and a big 3, and a 4 and a 5, and then you've got some kind of big rally here that's going to come up and potentially get to the 1272, 1414, and the 1618. That 1272 is my minimal target, around about 95k. It's a possibility that is the final fifth wave up to that 1272. Okay, so this is a possible scenario that I've gone through so many times, that we've actually been in a big cycle, big macro move off this bear market low right there. We've got a 1, we've got a 2, we've got a 3, this was a 4, and right now we're looking at a 5, the final 5th wave of a larger macro move here for Bitcoin, okay? And what it would be simply is a lengthening cycle, in my opinion. I've gone through this many times before, okay? For those that are new to the channel, what I think we could be looking at, and possibly, the warning shot to this particular scenario could be the DXY right now, turning them weekly EMAs with a potential looming death cross into resistance. If we start to see that coil up and then it loses that 101 target and starts to come down and the EMAs of resistance, this melt up will begin, okay? Because this is exactly where this melt up began when we seen the correction and the big crash and the pullback in the DXY, and it's exactly where this big melt up began, where we've seen that big melt up, big meltdown in the DXY as well. So it's not bullshit, it's not hopium, it's technical analysis, and this is something that I've been looking at for a very long time. And the invalidation of this is if Bitcoin comes down and loses this wave 1 high, because like I've always said to you, the wave 4 cannot retrace any deeper than wave 1. So in my opinion, we could just be in a peak to peak cycle, okay? And I'll go through this with you before, but obviously for this to be valid, we need to see Bitcoin coiling up, starting to break out and starting to move up quite ferociously for the remainder of the year here, with the breakdown of the DXY. So it's a possible scenario. I can't tell you it's going to happen with 100% certainty, but it is a scenario that I've talked about for a very long time right now, okay? I've not made it up. It's something I've been targeting for a very long time, that I think that it will catch everybody off guard, because I think that it's in the charts basically. So this is a cycle peak, that's another cycle peak, and that's obviously the previous cycle peak just there. But what I think we've got, and this is why this cycle peak caught everyone off guard, because it's not actually the cycle peak as a possibility. I think we've got lengthening peak to peak cycles, okay? So each cycle is taking 2 years to get to the top of its cycle. So this was 2 years, okay, from 2011 to 2013, and then from 13 to 17 was 4 years. And I think right now there's a bit of confluence lining up with the DXY and a potential breakdown for the remainder of the year, pulling back to its yearly 20 EMA as support. We could see a melt up in the crypto markets and risk on assets, okay, where we do get this big push, a minimal target towards a 1272 potentially by the end of the year here for Bitcoin, okay, and the crypto market. So, but that would mean that what we've got is 2, 4, 6, and we've got peak to peak cycle theory that's actually ringing true here. Again, the negation of that is if Bitcoin comes up like this, just goes sideways, breaks this. So by next year, come the start of the year, if Bitcoin's not attacked the all-time high, the 1 fib, and we've not broke it, then this peak-to-peak cycle with minimal target of 95k by the end of the year, or potentially by the start of 2024, is completely out the window, isn't it? So it is a theory. People think that when I do these things, it's set in stone. It's not. Everything I do is technical analysis. Everything is what-ifs, but it's a possibility. It's an absolutely possibility right now. But what we need to see is the follow-through here for Bitcoin. So is there any other signals aside from the DXY breaking down potentially in a looming death cross under the weekly EMAs, which is bullish for crypto, like I said to you, and obviously the weekly close right now above the weekly 20 EMA? Is there any other signal here that could be indicating a big massive move for the crypto markets? Well, there is, and it's called the hash ribbon buy signal on the weekly time frame, okay? So potentially we've just created that signal right there. That is a major signal that Bitcoin creates, not often, and it has got a really strong, powerful historical data behind it as well. So if we take a look and we start to zoom out here for Bitcoin, you can clearly see that if I drop this in, you can clearly see last time we got a buy signal was way down here when we got back above the EMAs and we put that beautiful impulsive break and actually made a new all-time high there. I think it was roughly, where are we, around about August 2021. So if we move to the left, you can clearly see after that big capitulation, the Corona dump, we start to come back up and create another buy signal. Sort of went sideways, but we remained above the weekly 20 EMA, and that's what we're looking for, consistent closes above the weekly 20 EMA. If we can see that over the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks, I think we could be in for a really good time, okay? And this is the thing that I'm looking at. I want to see that before I can start to say to you 100% when you're looking at a massive impulsive move here for Bitcoin, okay, as a possible scenario. So, this is a very powerful signal. If we take a look at this, we've got the buy signal just there, got back above the EMAs, never looked back, put a big impulsive move. I think Bitcoin did about a 3x from that point, didn't it? So they are like rocking horse shit. They're not 100% guaranteed, just because we printed that's absolute certain that we're going to take off into space. Anything is possible, this is Bitcoin as your pants down, but this is a possible scenario that is staring at us right now, because in this big wave C, which has potentially bottomed, we never lost the wave 1 high. Okay, so this sort of scenario is still on the table for me as a possible scenario. Not hopium, not bull-tardism or whatever like that, perma bullish, whatever. It's just a possible scenario, and these are the things I show you in the channel, on a day-to-day basis. So hope you enjoyed that update. Right now, I think that Bitcoin, obviously, I think on the daily time frame, if we take a look, we are sort of running into a bit of resistance. We've got the RSI, which is really taking off into space right there. It's beginning to turn the corner. You've got the stock in the sky as well, flatlining. So, I'm looking for a bit of a retracement here. If we can come back down, potentially, I would be looking at a retest of that high around about 19k, which would be amazing if we could fall back to that support. You can see the EMAs are going vertical, some kind of parabola here. If we come back, have a retracement, coil up, go again, then this could be an indication of this parabola that started off this low, looking for that big blow off top in 2023, late 2023, early 24, which would be absolutely amazing, and we've nailed it. Okay, so hopefully it does ring true and it catches everyone off guard. It would be absolutely amazing that we've nailed it and we come up here and we absolutely have a melt up, and a big sort of push up towards 95k. It would absolutely catch everyone off guard, because in theory Bitcoin has never made a new all-time high before the halvening, okay, after a big crash like this. So for me, I just think that this cycle is a little bit different from previous cycles. This is why I have been targeting this particular setup for a very long time as well. Okay, so hopefully it rings true, but I've not got a crystal ball. I can't guarantee anything on this channel. Okay, it's technical analysis. It is what it is. Take care, everyone. Back to another update on Bitcoin. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Bye bye.